Welcome back, everyone. This is my 100th video here on YouTube. I'm kind of surprised the time has gone by so fast. I guess they add up pretty quick when you bust out a video a day. So I thought I would do a special knife in my collection that doesn't get enough Instagram use, or doesn't get shown off that much because it's more of just I don't know, it's kind of a personal knife. But this is the Spyderco World Trade Center Rescue Fundraising Project knife. So let me start off by thanking all of the first responders out there for 9/11, for the fires in California, for the Oklahoma City bombing, whatever tragic thing going on that you've responded to, thank you. I've been working my day job in the security industry for almost 30 years. And I've worked with a lot of great law enforcement guys. I've worked with a lot of federal agencies, the FBI, the CIA, Border Patrol, you name it, in the alphabet soup agency department. I've worked with pretty much all of them at one point or another. I've done a project for them. So it's been great. So this one kind of hits close to home to me whenever there's a big disaster, terrorist attack thing. So I wanted to talk about this knife that Spyderco put together soon after the 9/11 tragedy. Also, some people have noticed that I wear this bracelet in some of the videos. Actually, it's been on my wrist since soon after 9/11. It's a 9/11 memorial bracelet, and it has the name of a New York City Police Department sergeant on there. That you can't read with the lights, and it's kind of old and it's scratched up and all of that stuff. So, but I wear this to always remind me of Sergeant Rodney Gillis from the New York PD. So let's jump into the knife. It comes in this really cool wooden display box. It's kind of just, it's got the rescue knife inside. And it's got some velvet stuff and some little elastic straps, whatever. So we'll just put that off to the side. And how they came about this, and I've got some paperwork that comes with it off to the side here. So basically during the cleanup, after the incident, there was a lot of reports and difficulty cutting through material and stuff like that. So Spyderco donated 300 of their rescue model knives, which is very similar to this one. This is a rescue model. They donated 300 of them, and they engraved on the blade, "In memory of America's finest, 9/11/01," as kind of a gesture to the first responders that were there in doing the cleanup. After that, they wanted to come up with a way to give back to law enforcement, because at the time, Spyderco was giving a lot of their customers were law enforcement. First responders, military, were buying a lot of Spyderco stuff back then. So they wanted to come up with a way to give back. So they put together this knife. They came up with this idea. And 100% of all the proceeds went to law enforcement. And they actually sold these for, it was rather cheap. It was $225. Okay, they made 2,819 numbered pieces. Okay, mine is number 031. And that 2819 number is the official count of souls that were lost at the attack. They then made an additional seven for some very special thank yous to some specific law enforcement folks. And then I've also heard that they made about 100 so that they could have some stock pieces for warranty and service work. And then back in 2015, they actually sold the 100 extras or whatever they had left over from warranty stuff. And those ones sold for like $400. So these ones sold for $225. They sold another batch of 100 later that they had made for spares for $400. And all of that money that they made from all of those sales went to the law enforcement community as thank yous. So there you go. So now let's jump into the actual knife. So the close length, the way I measure it, because, I don't really go to, I do go to the website and I look at stuff, but it's always different than what I measure with my calipers and my fancy-dancy Stanley tape measure. Oh, this is an Olympia. Oops, sorry. I have to get my Stanley out instead. So I measure from the very tip to the farthest edge here at 4.97 inches with an overall length of 8 inches. The blade, I had trouble kind of measuring where I wanted to measure this from, so I measured kind of just from the edge of the scale here to the tip at 3.45, which gives you an edge length of 3.14 from here to the tip. This is out of CPM S30V steel, and I totally spaced on weighing it, so I will put that in the description below. Sorry. The blade thickness is 0.11. The overall thickness is 0.67. And it actually feels really good in the hand because it kind of, you can see here, it kind of swells up here, it tapers, swells up in the palm of your hand, tapers again, and then kind of swells up again at the pivot. This is the first knife that they actually debuted the ball bearing lock. The ball bearing lock is akin to the Axis lock from Benchmade. Best I can tell, kind of looking at it and playing with it. It's a little difficult to unlock, in my opinion. It works, but it's definitely a two-hand thing. You really can't pull it back enough. Yeah, you can, but it's, as you can see, was a little difficult to get it closed. This thing is butter smooth to open. One of the really cool things about it is, as you can see, it's got the New York City skyline here that they wanted to do post or pre 9/11 so that it showed the towers. And this metal here was salvaged from an I-beam from the east side of Tower 1. They got some quantity of material. I don't know if they took the whole I-beam or, I don't know. But this skyline is out of steel that was recovered at ground zero. And to me, that's just kind of makes me, kind of a sombering moment to actually have here in my hand some steel from the towers. So this knife was completely made in their Golden, Colorado facility outside of the scales. The FRN, which is the fiber reinforced nylon, was made elsewhere. I don't know where. And then it was fully assembled and built there at their Golden, Colorado site. This is one of just a couple of knives I have in my collection that I don't carry. It is right hand tip up carry, because you cannot flop the wire pocket clip to the other side. Just wouldn't work. They don't have the little cutouts. I guess you could use that as a lanyard hole. I'm sure, well, I don't know. I'm not sure of anything. I'm not sure that anybody bought this and carried it. So it's got a full steel liners with the FRN scales on the sides. Fully serrated, obviously, with this sheepfoot blades shape. And again, that's what their rescue knife is. Their rescue knife is a lot of first responders for cutting seatbelts. You don't want to stab the person that you're cutting out of a seatbelt or cutting out of some entangled rope or something. So it's a great design for blade shape and design for what it is used for. It's got the Spyderco logo there in the middle with the big spider web coming out. I mean, I just think it's just a beautiful piece that I really am honored to have in my collection. And when you get it, I bought this actually on the secondary market, I'll be honest. And it came with a letter of authenticity from Spyderco. And it was made out to the original purchaser. So I reached out to Spyderco. I had several at the time. So I reached out to them directly and asked them and said, hey, I bought this knife. Here's the letter from the original owner. Would you mind, or could I get a letter written out to me instead? I was, kind of a Spyderco collector back then, and I thought there was some value to that. And they said, sure, no problem. And within a few days, I had a letter made out to me. Basically, the same letter, just made out to me. I have the old letter also to keep the history of the knife. So I give you a quick size comparison just because we're here next to the Sharpie and next to the Chris Reeve Sebenza, just to give you guys an idea of the actual size of this knife. But it truly is an honor to own this, and I figured for my 100th video, it was worth showing something that was worthy of a milestone video. So thanks for watching. Let me know, where were you on 9/11? What's your thought and memory of it? Kind of help take our mind off of the coronavirus, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next vid.